Hello everyone, this is Jimmy and welcome to episode 24 of Project Ozone 3. It's time to set up our ME system. For the time being, I think we'll just set it up as a digital storage system. It'll actually end up being very similar to what a storage tablet offers us. You know, crafting, access to all our items in a unified inventory, hopefully unlimited range and interdimensional. Once we have that set up, we can expand it into auto crafting and all that jazz later, but for now, let's just get everything hooked up. So despite us having only 2 controllers, and thus, I forget how many faces this was, 10, I think? 10 faces to work with, I think I'm still going to use a extensively P2P system, and the way I want to set this up is, I want to cover all the faces but 1. I guess we'll leave all but 2. So if we want to expand, we'll add more controllers on this side. So we'll cover these faces like this, and then we'll run our, we'll connect all of those to here. So we can run our P2P subnet off of the same controller as our, our functional network. It's a trick that someone brought up in the comments in the OmniFactory series. This way, we don't need another controller dedicated to power the subnet. So if we just do this, now this doesn't, the way I'm setting this up, it won't support, like 1,000, maybe it can get up to 1,000, but it won't support 5,000 channels if we end up needing 5,000 channels. Spoilers, we won't. So it's less scalable, but I think that's fine. And then somewhat as a rule of thumb, I'm thinking that we will run just so that I don't get confused about whoopsies, that can't connect there. Whether cable I'm looking at is part of the P2P network or the main network. I could color the cable such that all the P2P cables are brown and all the main net ones are blue or something. But instead, I'm just going to run all the carrier network. Let's call it that. The carrier network will go on the roof, or hold on, does that make sense? No, let's put the carrier network on the floor level, and then the main network will be on the roof, because most of the functional channels will want access to upstairs, right? So what I'm thinking is, yeah, we can just run it like this. I'm gonna run it not on the grid so I don't interfere with my torches, but it's like if I, let's see, I have need for channels over here, right? So what I'm going to do is run dense cable, wow, I'm really bad at clicking, over to this area, and then at some point here, let's see, so I have a storage bus here, that will connect to this, and we'll put our another P2P channel, or bus here, and then I just have to connect. See, running wires is not my strong suit. Like so. And then all I have to do is bind, this tunnel to one of the tunnel faces here, and then yeah, and then from here I can split from this this cable, which is now part of the functional network. I can split it to whatever else on this part of the base needs access to our ME network. Cool. So the other thing we have to do is power it. Normally I'd power it through a face of the controller, but since our controller faces are somewhat limited, I'm thinking I'm just going to power it through the network directly. But that means I'm just going to need to add a energy acceptor, I believe. Alright, easy as that. The energy acceptor powers our mainnet, and then if you use a quartz fiber cable, you can transfer energy, like AE energy, without transmitting channels, so you don't end up blending your main net with your carrier net. So that should result in everything lighting up. Yep, because we're all on the same controller, right? The fact that the carrier net powers controller means that the main net can use it. So all that's left is to bind it all together. So you configure the card, load the card, And device missing channel. That should change in just a second. Device online. And this should say one channel because there's one device here. And this should say device online in a second. Sweet. So I'm going to go ahead and link up all of the various storage we have scattered throughout the base. In fact, I already went ahead and put storage buses on it just so I can like kind of keep track of where it all is. And once I get that all linked up, we can set up, our terminals. One thing I forgot to mention earlier is that we'll still be using the same storage as we have before. Just a bunch of, a majority of our storage goes in crates, and we have a few dedicated drawer systems for holding, items that are produced automatically. And that's because if we look at the recipes for digital storage, let's see, specifically the 4K ME drive. Yep, that's our good friend, the capacitor. So because I think the rest of these are normal recipes, like that's a normal 1K recipe, and the 16K, whatever, all these recipes are normal. But the fact that the 4K takes the capacitor means that we really can't use any of it very efficiently until we have those capacitors automated. So for the time being, we're just going to stick to the same storage in the same place we've been using before. That is an advantage of our storage tablet will continue to work until we move over to using digital drives. Cool. So that said, I think I have everything hooked up. I haven't actually checked yet, but when we do, we should see all of our items. I kind of gave me a scare there when it didn't load in. I mean, I guess it's tough to tell if this is actually all of our stuff. So one advantage of using the ME system right over the scanner is that I get to hook up these inventories. Like I get to, I guess what's an item in here that we wouldn't see in our normal inventory? Borer essence, 6,000 stacks of borer essence. Right, we don't see that in our storage tablet because the storage scanner has a limitation of 20 blocks from, where the scanner itself is. And that is way more than 20 blocks away. So because we're now using, do I have an elevator here. Because we're using the ME network, we can just run a cable over here and see all these inventories. Cool. So let's just confirm that the borer essence is in here. Yep, 393,000 borer essence. All right. The next thing we want to do then is sync up our wireless crafting terminal to it, and all we have to do for that is make a security terminal, which unfortunately does take a 16K drive, so that takes some of our precious capacitors. And I've actually already synced it up, and into here you can place an infinity booster card. I tested already. There's two ways the infinity booster works. One is they're consumable, and each one provides a couple seconds of infinity power. That's the way they used to be in like OmniFactory. The other one is they're just a single card is all you need. It lasts forever, and that's a mode this pack is in, which is awesome. That means that with our infinity booster in here, we don't we'll always be in wireless range, even if we go to another dimension. So here in the Erebus, we still have access. Now, it's really hard to press that button. Anyways, that's that only matches the behavior of our storage tablet, right? Because we already have that, but it's good to have anyways. At least it'd be a tough feature to lose, right? Because if you go from having storage access anywhere to storage access only in your base, you're going to be pretty sad about it. One thing you'll notice is that there actually is not a single access point on our network right now, but without a single access point, you actually cannot insert your infinity booster card. So if I take this out, I guess it won't let me. Maybe if I'm in wireless range, it'll let me. Nope. When you try to open this without a booster card at all, it'll say like not in wireless range. So you do have to make and place down an access point, put your card in, and at that point you can get rid of your access point because it draws like, I don't know, 10 RF a tick. But hey, look, every little bit of energy saved is worth something, right? So now we've essentially duplicated the function of our storage tablet. So I'm going to put this away. I doubt we'll need it. The only thing left, I guess, is we have to configure the priorities on our storage buses. I want items to go into drawers before before going into our crates. So I'm just going to bump down the priority on all these storage buses to, I guess it starts at 0, right? I guess I'll have to go to -1. So I thought about, changing the priority of all 21 of these by hand, and I'm a lazy person. I don't like clicking things, It's like, what, 1, 2, 3. It's 3 clicks per thing. That's a whole 63 clicks. I can't be bothered to click 63 times, let's be honest. So I made a small change here. What this is now doing is these are kissing storage buses, I call them. So there's one on this side, one on this side, and actually each set of 7 drawers with its own storage bus is now a mini subnet. Because it doesn't have controller on it, remember, it's limited to 8 channels. So it's being powered through the glass fiber, or through the quartz fiber cable, and it's basically a mini network that just has 7 storage buses touching our inventory and 1 storage bus touching our main network. And what this allows it to do is our main network sees this storage bus, which sees all of those storage buses, which should result in, when we check our inventory, it looks the exact same. All of our items, let's see. Actually, I'm not seeing some items. So maybe I did something wrong. 1 second, let me fix it. There we go, fixed. So the items that are stored in these crates, we can now see on our main network. The change was on the subnet side, the side that's touching the main network should actually be an interface, not a storage bus. Because when an interface touches a storage bus, the interface reveals the contents of the entire of the subnet that it's on to the storage bus, even though none of the items are shown to be revealed here. That's like a applied energistics quirk. Anyways, this design is I suppose you could say it's like it's colloquially known as a Super Sorin drive, or SSD, except the SSD runs these in series as opposed to here where I'm running them in parallel. But the idea is if you run them in series, you get the advantage of you can have unlimited channels of storage running off a single channel in your main network. This way, I have 21 channels of storage running off 3 channels, but it's the same idea. I'm told that there is no significant performance impact of deeply nested recursive networks, although I have a hard time believing it, but I haven't tested it myself to confirm or deny. Anyways, that's our storage for now. At some point, we'll upgrade to digital storage and all this will go away. But until then, I think we have now built a storage system that truly exceeds what our storage tablet could do. So that can finally go away for real. I had to pull it out to build this. So let's move on to, what should we move on to? I guess we have 2 options. One is setting up auto crafting, although right now there's not really that much like legitimate auto crafting we need to do. I guess there's only really the capacitors. I'm thinking let's move on to farming, because the AE system can help us handle a very large farm. So I've been continuing to grow and level up seeds. If you look here, we now have quite a few of them between episodes and while I'm, just working on other things, waiting for like machines to process or something. So with all these seeds, we have to plant them somehow, right? Now, the conventional way to plant them is just you have some type of seed planter, you have some type of, plant harvester, or you build them together and into the Ender IO one. And that works fine for slow growing crops, but remember our crops grow fast, and let's demonstrate that again. Just here, which is our, I guess we call this like the breeder farm. Oh, actually we already have crops planted. I don't need to. Just here, look at how fast these plants grow. Like 1 second fully grown. That was even faster than that, right? If we try to use a harvester to harvest it, most plants will actually be fully grown at all times, just waiting for the harvester to come around to it. So I have a better solution. It's based on, let's see. It's based on the Horn of the Wild. So let's grab one, and I can set this to synchronized mode, right? AI auto, I want not auto keep. There we go. So a Horn of the Wild. When you blow on the Horn of the Wild, now it's a little annoying because the Horn of Wild does cause the lily pads to pop off, so I'm gonna do it right from the edge. When you blow with the Horn of the Wild, you see all the items pop off the plants. That's awesome, right? So all you have to do is make a farm, hold your Horn of the Wild near it, and all the essences will pop off the plant. Now again, if you, what does it cause lily pads to pop off? Yeah, it does. Okay, I was pretty sure it did. It just, hold on, I gotta put those lily pads back on. The advantage is that it harvests all the plants, like the tick that they grow. You know, it harvests them basically instantly, and it uses no power whatsoever. The downside is you can't actually use an autonomous activator or a mechanical user on a Horn of the Wilds. I've tested, I can't get it to work. Good news is, Britannia has a Drum of the Wild, which works exactly the same way as a Horn of the Wild, except it pulses whenever it gets hit by a mana pulse. So I've been building a farm off camera based on that design, and I think it's time to reveal it. Alright, let's go there. So a couple episodes ago, you may have seen that I had this this extra waystone at a place called Remote Farm. Well, what could that be? I wonder. It's basically another farm, just like our actual farm, except it's 800 blocks away. The reason it's out here is because once this gets fully up and running, it is extremely laggy. So, I mean, all it is it's a mana spreader taking a couple drums of the wild. I'm thinking we can add a couple more drums if we want to, but yeah, just as plants grow, they automatically get harvested by the drum of the wild. This solution is so much faster than every other planter harvester based solution I've ever seen. So once you have access to the Britannia drum of the wild, I really see no reason to use a harvester. Now, the other thing we have to do is we have to actually pick up all these items, right? If we just let them sit on the floor after like 2 minutes, there's going to be 1,000 item entities on the floor. You're going to get 1 frame per second, and your server owner is going to hate you. So, my plan for doing that, I haven't set that up yet, is I will set up a drawer system underneath. I use drawers because they can be void upgraded, so that, you know, even if the drawer is full, it'll continue to suck up the item and void them. Cool. So let's set about setting up those drawers, I guess. Alright, so underneath the farm now, nice and tucked away, is just a bunch of drawers. The controller slave here has the item collector on it, and I guess I need a bit more range on this, I think. The range can be, you can intentionally set it pretty high. And since all we have up there is wheat, right now when the, you know, the wheat drops, it gets picked up. So I think what we have up here is just a standard 111 wheat seed. Yeah, that's just, you know, vanilla wheat seeds. Oh, actually, I forgot to mention. To set the system up, you actually need a couple components. I should go through this. So I have 2 pulse mana spreaders. Pulse mana spreaders are basically just like normal mana spreaders, except they send a mana pulse not when there's something to shoot at, but when they receive a redstone pulse. My redstone pulses are being generated by this timer right here. So every 30 ticks, or 1.5 seconds, generates a redstone pulse, pulses spreaders. Next, each of these needs a mana lens. They don't need a lens, but if you don't have a lens, you'll see how this mana pulse hits the drum of the wild and stops. If you put a phantom lens on it, the mana pulse will go through and keep going. And then if you put a messenger lens on that as well and combine the two, in fact, it doesn't show you how, but basically if you put 2 lenses and a slime ball together, you can combine them. You get messenger and phantom, and messenger causes it to use a lot less mana and causes the mana burst to not lose potency over distance. So yeah, with mana lenses on both of these spreaders, this is a closed system, so basically we never lose mana, so we never have to refill or whatever the mana pools. Cool. So lastly, all we have to do is import our plants. So we no longer need, you know, this crappy seed. This is just here so I can test and make sure everything works. I think it's time to import our good seeds. Sorry for the sudden change of scenery. I almost forgot to mention the reason why I switched this up. And it wasn't, I mean, partially it was to save channels, but mostly it was so that I only had to change the priority on 3 storage buses. That way it's only 9 clicks instead of the 63 we had to do earlier. Oh boy, really saving time. Anyways, there's one more seed I want to get to max stats before we go plant them. So I'm going to do this real quick. All right, with an inventory full of seeds, and this is only about half the seeds I've already grown, maybe a little more than half, about 2/3. I can start planting them. So you'll see I switched out every other dirt tile with glowstone. For one, it makes it absolutely disgusting looking, so I'm sorry about that. Only a little sorry, but the reason I don't want every plot to be farms is that actually if this one were farmland and I try to plant something in it while it has neighbors, it's actually remarkably hard to actually click the plant in after. So you have to place the crop sticks, then place the plant. If you have imaginary time blocks powering this up, the plant will spread into your crop sticks faster than you can plant a new plant there. For now, I think I can beat it because we don't have imaginary time blocks, but yeah, just I don't end up needing every square of the farm anyways, so this is a bit like easier to use. So my plan for now is plant everything, harvest them once so that I have the essence, and then make sure the essence has a home. So again, if there's any essence without a home, this farm will crash your game and it will crash your server. So it's pretty important that every essence has a home. So anyways, I'm going to plant all of these and give all the essences homes. Alright, everything's planted. Interesting thing to note about a layout like this, the plants in the center get more growth ticks than the ones on the edges. So I intentionally leave some spots open near the center for the future for when I want some, high yield plants. And I plant the stuff I use the most, like, Infernium, Redstone, I think Iron is near here somewhere. Iron. The stuff I use the most, I plant near the center. So let's turn it on, let it run briefly, and see how it works. So one thing you'll note, it's quite laggy. Maybe not. I guess I don't have enough plants to make it that laggy yet. But farms in Minecraft are, in general, one of the laggier bits, which is why this farm is intentionally placed, outside of render range of our base. So anyways, excuse me. Anyways, you see that whenever the drums pulse, you see a bunch of essences just pop off and immediately get collected into our drawers, which is really awesome. So, you're probably wondering, how does this have anything to do with applied energistics? Couldn't we have done this before applied energistics? And the answer is, yeah, we could have built this system, but then how do we get the essences to our base? All the essences are stored over here, right? And remember, our storage scanner has a 20 block range. So, accessing this stuff would be a little annoying. Now, even with applied energistics, one way we can access it is we can run a cable 786 meters to here. That's 12 stacks of conduits or cables. Like, that's not the worst idea, but it's not one that I'm for. So let's take advantage of the what's it called, like the quantum link tunnel or something like that, quantum ring and quantum link chamber, and we can use that to build a wireless connection for applied energistics. So to make a quantum link chamber, you need, well, to make the quantum link system, I guess, you need 2 quantum link chambers, one for each end, 16 quantum rings, and a quantum quantum entangled singularity. So if you read the description, it says how to make one, which involves these singularities. Crafting singularities is a little weird. It does show you how. Basically, you need a matter condenser and you need a stuff. Does it say how many items? There we go. 256,000 items into it. All the items get voided and you need a 64K storage component in there. So I just have a cobblestone generator feeding a matter condenser. This one's actually been running for quite some time, which is why I have 32 singularities. Let's see. Oh, they're actually used for something besides just that. So I guess I'll have it. I'll have it keep running. Sure, why not? Anyways, so as it says, we need an explosion. And I love crafting with explosions. I have this little obsidian platform built just for that purpose. One tiny explosion coming right up. Boom. And now we have quantum entangled singularities. So one will go at each end of the link chamber to link them. Now let's just find a place to put it. So this wireless system is a 1-to-1. So, you have one connection on each end, and it is interdimensional. So with that in mind, I like to transfer the carrier network as opposed to the main network. No particular reason. So, I mean, you can do both. Either works. I guess I prefer to do a carrier network because it allows you to just have, access to effectively unlimited channels on either end. So, the link chamber itself does not actually take a channel. You build this multi-block, one on one side, one on the other. So let's go build the one on the other side. So, as I was saying, one on each end. And then it's as if the 4 edges are directly connected on all of the link chambers. Or at least on this link chamber and the the one over there it's linked to. So it doesn't matter which of the 4 you use. And then since we're transporting P2P channels, we'll want to convert those into regular channels and attach a storage bus there and attach all this together like so. Now, one small caveat is that the quantum ring can transfer power, but it will not transfer power until it's powered. So it can power itself once it starts transferring power, but it needs power to start, right? Again, chicken or egg. To deal with that, there's a couple ways you can deal with it. The simplest, in my opinion, is just to provide it power on the normally unpowered side. And we should see that it will... I haven't linked the tunnels yet. Hold on, let me link the tunnel real quick. And once we do that, we'll see it all power up. Voila, and we're in business. And if you look closely, you can barely see little white particles in the link chamber showing that it's working. But I suppose an easier way to see if it's working is to just look for essences. 16 stacks of nature essence. That is most definitely not 16 stacks of nature essence. What is wrong here? Device is online. Storage bus says it's offline. Oh, right. Why no, this should be powered. The P2P network transfers power. Why does this side say it's offline? Why does the tunnel say it's offline? Oh, derp. It's because I have my P2P tunnel facing the wrong way. I need I need it facing the other way. That would do it. Mistakes happen. No need to be ashamed of them. So now when we link it, let's see, this should soon say linked. Device online linked. Cool. And this should soon say device online. In fact, I'm sure I can already see the items. So now all the essences that get generated here, we can see in our main network. Awesome. Which also means we have access to anything that gets generated here for crafting. Now, there's one decision I still want to make about how to use these essences. So for the vast majority of essences, there's only one thing to do with them, right? You craft them into their appropriate ingot. However, for some, there are choices, like Guardian Essence. You can make fish, prismarine, or prismarine crystals. So I'm thinking for the essences that have only a single use, I'm thinking about setting up a crafter behind it that will automatically craft it into, the one. I'm gonna go turn that. It feels laggier than it, right? Like it says 80 FPS, but I don't feel. I mean, I guess you guys only get the video in 30, so maybe you don't. Maybe it's no different for you. Whatever. Anyways, I'm thinking what I'll do is for each of the essences that only has a single use. So again, kind of like this rock. Yeah, this rock crystal essence. What I'll do is I'll set up a crafter behind the drawer that'll automatically craft it into that thing, and then we can store that as part of either another drawer system or the same drawer system. And then for the essences that have multiple uses, I'll just leave them as essences, and we can stuff like this I'll probably craft because I don't need more inscribers. But for stuff like that prismarine essence, or I'm sure I can find another one that has multiple uses, maybe nature essence, right? It can do a whole lot of things. For this, I'll just I'll just leave it in essence form, and then we can craft that into whatever we need it to be on demand. All right, so one decision I made, which I'm not sure if it was the right one or not, but is whether or not we use a single crafter per essence type, or we put, multiple of them together in one. And as you can see, this crafter can easily keep up with 6 essences. Now our rate of essence production will go up a little bit further, so I probably don't want to. I mean, it only goes up to 8, so maybe I'll jam it full to 8. But anyways, the upside of using a single crafter for multiples is that you can now you need a lot less crafters. If one crafter can do 8, then you need 1/8 as many crafters as you do. Each crafter has 1, or each essence has 1. The downside, however, is that then you must now guarantee that the output doesn't back stuff. Because if the output gets stuffed, then the input will get stuffed, right? But that means that a single material can get everything jammed. Whereas if you only have a single material per crafter, then if it jams itself, all right, then I guess we can stop crafting. So what that means is, because I'm using multiple crafters or multiple resources per crafter, I now have to put void upgrades on the output, which means that once I'll go ahead and fill all these up with emerald upgrades too, but that means that once we reach about 400k of the item, it'll start voiding. And I think that's okay. Like, if I'm at 400k in Darium ingots, do I really care about the 400k in first one? Like, no, that's okay. I'm totally cool voiding it. But it just feels bad, It's one of those things, like, it aches your heart to destroy resources, even if it doesn't matter. At least it makes my heart ache. But yeah, I think I'm going to stick with this design and just extend it throughout. So what's happening is I have, up to, so far I have 6 drawers feeding into here. This crafts its things, and then it extracts and feeds into this drawer set. And the drawers on the back are actually connected to the drawers on the front. They're on the same controller, just so that I can see them all on the ME network. There's a couple of trims here connecting to another controller slave. Cool. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and hook up the rest of these, although I think we're at the point where we can wrap up this episode and there's really nothing more to see with this. So I'll do the rest of this grunt work, between episodes. We'll come back tomorrow, and I think we have all the infrastructure set up that we can tackle that stupid capacitor factory. So tomorrow, the challenge will be our capacitor factory. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.